Okay, let's talk about AlphaGo. This is the story of an AI from Google's DeepMind that took on the ancient game of Go. And you have to understand, for decades, Go wasn't just a game, it was seen as this final, totally unconquerable mountain for artificial intelligence. So how in the world did that mountain get climbed? Let's dive in.
So for years, this was the big question haunting the entire AI community. I mean, could a machine really master a game that was all about human intuition? See, Go wasn't about just crunching numbers. It was about feel, instinct, this deep strategic art. The best players in the world, they'd tell you their moves came from intuition, not just cold, hard logic. So yeah, the real question was, could you ever teach a machine to have a gut feeling?
All right, Section 1, the impossible game. To really get what AlphaGo did, you first have to understand the game it was designed to beat. For the AI world, Go was it, the final boss, the impossible game. You know, most of us remember when Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov in chess, right? Back in '97. And that felt like this huge moment for AI. But Go is a completely different beast. We're talking about a game with more possible positions on the board than there are atoms in the known universe. I mean, just let that sink in. A computer couldn't just brute force its way to a win by calculating every move. No way. It was literally impossible. To win at Go, you needed that human feel, that spark of artistry that everyone just assumed machines could never, ever have.
And for almost 20 years after that big chess victory, that's just how things were. The best Go programs out there, they were, well, stuck. They were basically strong amateurs. A real pro could beat them without breaking a sweat, even giving the computer a huge head start. The top of that mountain, the peak of the game, seemed totally, completely out of reach for any machine. Okay, Section 2, a new kind of player. But then, something changed. A new player showed up. This was AlphaGo from Google's DeepMind. And the key thing here is that it wasn't built to just calculate. It was built to learn. So how did it learn? Well, this three-step process was the real secret sauce. First, it kind of learned to be human. It just gobbled up a database of 30 million moves from expert games to see how the best people play. But then, and this is where it gets crazy, it started to move beyond human play. It played millions and millions of games against itself over and over again, basically teaching itself what worked through trial and error. This is called reinforcement learning. And through this process, it started discovering strategies that no human had ever even thought of. And finally, it put it all together. It could look at a position and not just pick a good move, but actually feel out its chances of winning from that exact spot. So, after all that training, it was finally time to put it to the test. And what happened next? Well, it sent absolute shockwaves through the world of Go. This was it. For the very first time in history, a computer beat a professional Go player on a full-sized board with no handicap. And guys, it wasn't even close. It was a 5-0 clean sweep against the European champion Fan Hui. Now, the AI community knew this was a massive deal, but they actually kept it a secret for a few months before the big announcement. Just like that, the impossible had happened. All right, on to Section 3, the ultimate showdown. Look, beating the European champ was a big deal, for sure, but it wasn't the final test. To really prove it was the best, AlphaGo had to face an absolute legend. It had to face Lee Sedol, a South Korean 9-dan pro and one of the greatest players of all time.
Going into this match, almost all the experts thought Lee Sedol would win. Some thought he'd win easily. What happened instead was just stunning. A 4-1 victory for the machine. The whole world was watching this live, and you could just feel the balance of power between man and machine shifting right there in real time. I mean, after his third loss in a row, Lee Sedol was just visibly shaken. You have to understand, this wasn't just about losing. This was about staring across the board at an intelligence that was creative, completely unorthodox, and just alien. In his own words, he said he felt powerless.
But then, in Game 4, with the whole series already lost and him down 3-0, something amazing happened. With absolutely nothing left to lose, Lee Sedol tapped into something else. He found another gear.
And this was the moment. Pure human genius. It was move 78. Lee Sedol played a move so brilliant, so unexpected, so beautiful, that it's now known as the divine move. Get this, AlphaGo itself had calculated that the odds of a human ever making that play were just 1 in 10,000. It was so out of left field that it completely broke the machine's logic. It started making mistake after mistake, and for the first time, it resigned. Humanity had just won a game.
And for Lee Sedol, that single win, it meant everything.
It was proof that human ingenuity, that human creativity could still find a crack in the armor of this perfect machine. It was a victory he said he wouldn't trade for anything. It was priceless.
All right, Section 4, the world responds. The match might have been over, but the story? Oh, it was just getting started. The world was trying to figure out what it had just seen. And meanwhile, for AlphaGo, the evolution was about to kick into an even higher gear.
People started calling this a Sputnik moment for AI, and for good reason. The experts were just stunned. They admitted this milestone was something they thought was at least 5, maybe 10 years away. Go professionals started studying AlphaGo's games like they were religious texts, trying to understand its weird, creative, non-human moves. And governments took notice. China especially saw which way the wind was blowing and started pouring billions into AI research. AlphaGo even got an honorary 9 Dan rank, the highest you can get.
And just look at this table. It shows you the absolutely terrifying speed of its improvement. The version that beat Lisadol was already a monster. But then you see the next versions, AlphaGo Master and AlphaGo Zero, and their skill ratings just go through the roof. But here's the part that's actually mind-blowing. They did this with less computing power, just 4 specialized chips. So it wasn't just getting smarter, it was getting way more efficient at the same time. The growth was just exponential.
This quote from KG, he was the world's #1 player. It just says everything. After he lost to the AlphaGo Master version, he had this incredible realization. It wasn't just that AlphaGo was a better player. It was that AlphaGo was showing that everything humans thought they knew about this 3,000-year-old game was basically wrong. That we'd never even touched the truth of Go.
Which brings us to our final section, AlphaGo's final move. After changing the game forever, it had one last thing to do.
So in 2017, after handily beating the new world #1 KG, the DeepMind team made an announcement. AlphaGo was retiring. Just like that. There was simply nothing left for it to prove. It had climbed the mountain, planted its flag, and its dominance was absolute.
But its real legacy? That was cemented by what came next, AlphaGo Zero. Now this thing was different. It started with absolutely zero human knowledge. No games, no strategies, nothing. It was just given the basic rules of Go and told, figure it out. And by just playing against itself, in 3 days, it was stronger than the version that beat Lisadol. After 40 days, it had surpassed every version that came before it. It had rediscovered thousands of years of human strategy and then invented brand new ones completely on its own.
And the human impact, well, it was profound. In 2019, Lee Sedol, the man who got that one single beautiful win, he retired from professional Go. And when he was asked why, his reason was simple: AI. He said he just couldn't be the top player anymore because there was now, in his words, an entity that cannot be defeated.
Look, at the end of the day, the story of AlphaGo isn't really about a board game, is it? It's this landmark moment showing the incredible power of AI to learn. It took a 3,000-year-old game, a game based on human intuition, and proved that a machine could not only master it, but show us truths about it we had never seen before. Which leaves us all with one massive question. What will AI redefine for us next?